Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome back. I'm Jeannie and summertime isn't over yet, so we're going to be doing a mermaid mani using the Mermazing Collection by ManiBoss. As soon as I saw this collection, I knew that I had to have it. And I absolutely love that every time she releases a new collection, she has matching stickers. Like, how adorable is this sticker? I'm not sure where I'm going to put it yet, but I definitely want to keep that. And from the collection, these are the three that I chose to use for this mani. I couldn't decide, but I just thought these three, of course they were purple, they were just calling my name. So let me quickly show you these three colors before we get into the mani. I'll also be using my ManiBoss dip liquids, which is my dip base activator and dip top coat. In addition to my dip top coat for some of the nails, because I am going to do some stamping, I also use my ManiBoss Hema Free Gel base and gel top coat. But let's jump right into the dipping. So I'm going to start with my solid first. So this one is Salty But Sweet, and this color is so beautiful. It's like a maybe like orchid purple. I don't know, I'm bad at describing colors. But it's very beautiful, kind of like a muted purple, and it glows in the dark, and I absolutely love glows. So I'll insert a picture at the end of the glow. But anyway, this is going to go on my ring finger and my thumb. It's going to be my normal dipping process, so I'm going to do 2 layers of this. And I'm actually going to wait, even though this is a solid color, the only solid I'm going to use, I'm going to wait to cap everything in clear till the end, because I'm going to do an ombre with the glitter on my ring finger. And for the base that I'm dipping on, these are actually the medium almond jelly tips from Betty Cora. I'll leave the link for this video up above in the cards in case you want to check that out. And I have to say, these held up so well. So I'm not wearing any peel base on this mani because this was right before I went camping. Yep, I went camping. It was like 90 plus degrees. It was super hot, and no, it wasn't glamping. So we actually were in a tent in our sleeping bags. It was hot. I mean, the nights were a little bit cooler, luckily, but it was still super humid, which was really weird because I was chilly, but I was sticky. But anyway, my point is these held up so well, so I didn't have any chipping, any cracking, nothing. So the entire weekend of camping, these held up. So I was super happy. So definitely recommend these tips. And, you know, even the dip liquids, they held up well. I didn't have any chipping on my dip either. Next, I'm going to be using Peer Pressure, which is a beautiful shimmer, and I absolutely love the pun because it's P-I-E-R instead of P-E-E-R, and I love when companies have like these witty names. And I feel like pictures just don't do this shimmer justice. Hopefully when I showed you the jar in the beginning of the video, you saw the beautiful shimmers, because I feel like you don't really see it here or in pictures, but trust me, when you see it in person, it is so beautiful. But this is going to go on my index finger and my pinky, and I'm going to do 2 layers of this as well on both my fingers. So I went to pat down my dip after cleaning up my cuticle line, and my dip base was still wet, and you can see that little area right there at my cuticle line where I accidentally took out a little chunk of that dip. Luckily it wasn't a huge spot, but I was really annoyed that that had happened. So I end up doing my second layer of dip anyway, just to see if that would cover it up or if I need to do any more patching. Luckily the second layer of dip covered it up, and I don't think you can tell at all that I did that on the first layer. And I've got a little sneak peek for you. So this is a tester from Chaos Concepts. So it's still in the testing phase. It doesn't have a name yet. We're still testing it out, but I cannot wait for it to be released. So this is 3D printed out of the flexible material. So if you're familiar with Chaos Concepts products, this is kind of a cross between the Spoonful of Chaos and the Dipped in Chaos. So it's got that flexible material. It's easy to clean out, but it is flatter and wider than your Dipped in Chaos. So that's kind of where the spoon part comes in. And I have absolutely been loving it. I cannot wait for it to be released so I can buy a ton of these, because they are so easy to use and they fit so much powder in here. So for like my glitters, I'm using for the pour over method. So first layer, I'm pouring over my glitters. And then for my second layer, I'm going to pour my entire jar into the container and then lay my finger flat into the glitter. And you'll see this is a 1/4 ounce jar, but there is plenty of room. I could fit a whole 1/2 ounce jar in this container with plenty of room to spare. This doesn't have a release date yet because it's still in the testing phase, but I will keep you updated. But in the meantime, let's get back to my mani. So for my middle finger, I went ahead and did my first layer and poured over my glitter. And for my ring finger, I'm just going to do a little bit of ombre on top of Salty But Sweet. So I'm going to apply an entire layer of dip base to my nail. And then I will take my Wet n Wild eyeshadow brush. I will tip my finger towards my pinky, and then I will tap my glitters onto my nail. So I want it more concentrated on the side of my nail that's closest to my middle finger. And I'm just going to gently rotate my finger a little bit just to get some of that powder to kind of cascade down towards more of the center of my nail. And because I want a little more chunkier pieces, I'll do a little bit of placement as well. But this is, you know, pretty good coverage because I don't want too much glitter on my ring finger. I went ahead and finished up off camera, so here's how it's looking after I finished filing and buffing, and I decided I wanted to try my pigment stamping. So I've got the stamping plate. I'm not sure where it came from, but I love that it's got the mermaid scales on there, so I had to use it for this mani. So I've got this neon purple pigment powder that I have from a pack that I got from iGel Beauty, so I'll be using that for the stamping. But in order for my pigment powders to stick, I need a tacky layer, so I'm going to be using my ManiBoss Hema Free Gel base coat as my tacky layer. So I'm going to apply that to my index finger and ring finger, and I'm going to cure that for 30 seconds, and then I will get into the stamping. To do the stamping with the pigment powder, I'm just taking my eyeshadow applicator, and I just buy a huge pack of these off of Amazon. So I am dipping that into the neon pigment powder, and I'm dabbing that onto the design I want on my stamping plate. So this takes place of using any stamping polish, but I want to make sure everything is fully covered. So I'm just going over the design, patting in that powder until I feel like I have enough coverage. And so I've done this previously before with chrome pigment powders, but because it was a chrome pigment powder, it was a very super subtle design. So I knew I wanted to try with a neon pigment powder so that my design popped. And if you want to see that video with the chrome pigment powders, I'll leave that above in the cards in case you want to check that out. So once I've got my powder on, I'm going to scrape with my scraper card to get off that excess powder, and then I'm going to roll my stamper onto the design. Where I struggled with, you could see at the top there's that extra kind of design part, but I couldn't get that off like a normal stamping polish, so I just left it as is. I guess I have to play with it to figure out how to remove excess design, but I'm going to figure out where I want to place the design on my nail, and then I will press down on the jelly stamper. And so here's how the design looks. I'm pretty happy with it for my first time. I love how that kind of stands out. What you'll notice though is it is a little smudgy, so I'm not sure if I moved around my jelly stamper too much. If it's the gel base, I think it's going to be a little trial and error, but for my first time, I was really happy with the way it turned out. I guess I did this mani too long ago because I completely forgot what I was doing. So I didn't stamp on my ring finger because that has the ombre on it. But I did decide that I wanted to do a little stamping on my pinky as well. It was a last minute decision, but I had fun doing the mermaid scales. So I applied a layer of gel base to my pinky. I cured that for a full 30 seconds. So now there's this little seashell on the stamping plate that I thought was so cute. So I'm going to take the same pigment powder and I'm going to dab in the pigment powder into that seashell. And I want to make sure that I've got that fully covered so I can get a full transfer of the design. So I'm just dabbing that in a little bit more. And once I'm happy with that, I'm going to take the scraper card and I'm going to scrape off the excess. I'll roll my jelly stamper onto the seashell, and then I'm still trying to get off that excess pigment powder. I'm having a difficult time. If anyone has any tips or tricks of the best way to remove excess pigment powder from your jelly stamper, let me know, because I thought the lint roller would be better, but I still struggled with it a little bit. So it's not as easy as with your stamping polish, because with your stamping polish, a piece of tape, lint roller, your scraper card, that gets off the excess. But I just said forget it, and I'm just going to leave it as is and stamp on the little seashell. Because I couldn't get the excess pigment powder off my jelly stamper, it transferred onto my nail, but luckily for cleanup, I was able to take my little micro swab and some isopropyl alcohol and just wipe off that excess pigment powder. So luckily cleanup was super easy. I was worried about it, like would I have to just leave that on there? But that's a lesson for me of if I have like excess powder, I can just clean that off with some isopropyl alcohol. I went ahead and topped my 2 stamped nails with my ManiBoss Hema Free Gel top coat, and I gave that a full cure for 60 seconds. And for the rest of my nails, I actually am going to use my ManiBoss dip top coat. So I'm applying one final layer of activator. I'm going to wait a full 2 minutes, and then I will go in with my top coat. And as always, I'm going to finish off my mani by rehydrating my cuticles. So I'm using my Scales of Mermaid cuticle oil. This is in the scent Son of a Beach, because I thought for mermaid mani, beach theme, I thought it kind of fit perfectly because, you know, I love to match my cuticle oil to my manis all the time. And here we are with the finished look. What do you think? I absolutely am obsessed with this new collection by ManiBoss, but let's be honest, I love all of her products. If you haven't tried ManiBoss yet, this is your sign. Run and go try them because everything is just amazing. And this mani has me craving the beach. I've still got a little over a month, I think, before I go to the beach. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really craving to get to the beach. So don't be surprised if this isn't the last beach mermaid type mani that you see from me, because I'll probably do one before I head to the beach. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up. It lets me know to continue creating content like this. And it also helps YouTube recommend me to others, which helps grow my channel. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I upload content every Monday and Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.